do you think is going to happen next in the middleweight title picture? Because Dana seems, I mean, like if you were in Dana's position, okay, maybe that's not a fair question because Dana seems to be a little bit like set that Drickus pulled
Dana
out,
can
but
be,
he didn't pull out.
Dana, let's call it, he can be bitchy. He's a bitch when it comes down to, and not I'm not calling him a bitch, I'm saying he's bitchy, and the promotion can be bitchy about things, and I understand why. And he's done so much for the sport, and he's an incredible, MMA trailblazer, and he's built this entire business, and it's turned into this monster that's crazy, bought by the WWE, and a whole merger and all that. All this stuff is incredible. But for what it's worth, I think that he is still at heart that he wants it his way, and that's probably why they've done so well. Is they haven't bent over for the masses. I think I'm calling him that because I favor Drickus in this.
Of course.
Chat. I'm a little bit biased.
We're very biased.
So I would say, I understand what happened in that situation is Drickus went into Whittaker injured and he still beat him. And he changed his whole world. I sat with Mornefer, so we unpacked for maybe like an hour. He told me how he's training his guys, and holy shit, it is mind blowing. The stuff that oak is doing. It like goosebump stuff. Like the way how intricate they are with every single thing in building an athlete, and all the nuances of blood work, and like they're just going through mad stuff, like mad science stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't expect it, but that's what I'm sitting there going, what the hell are you into here? It's amazing to hear. But they basically have created a setup for Drickus where he is at the height of everything. He's conditioned, he's strong, everything's coming on point. And him fighting Izzy would have been really shit based on the setup, because they knew, I mean, to go into the hexagon or the octagon and go and challenge him straight away, it set it up so that it was unavoidable. It's like now, and the UFC allowed that to happen. The UFC allowed that to happen to force the narrative of the fans, because if you can control how the fans think about a fight, you control it all. You're like, okay, cool. You know what we'll do is, we know that, and we don't care. We favor Izzy in this. Of course, that's their boy.
Yeah.
So they're like, we know that there's this story between these two. There's this African narrative that we can sell. Great. Izzy's our boy. Well, how do we get Drickus to the table quickly? Even though he's carrying an injury and he's just beaten the guy that he shouldn't have beaten. Let's force the narrative. Go on, get in there. Oh, it shouldn't have happened, but it did.
Yeah.
They control every nuance of that business. You're telling me they didn't allow him. He slipped through.
Well, look at when Conor and Khabib had that incident in the octagon. How quickly they got everybody out.
Yeah.
There's no way that if you didn't want Izzy in the octagon, there would be no way for him to get in.
100%. So he's in there calling him out, and great. Drickus looked incredible, but. Then now give him his dues. Let him have the fight when he can fight and be at the best to fight an absolute savage. Like Izzy's one of the best middleweights ever.
Yeah.
One of the best UFC fighters. And now you're going to give him a 7-week turnaround. Please, man. And he's just fought Whittaker, gone through a mad camp there, and carrying an injury into that. And now he's going to carry, like, I'm not saying that he was injured now, but I mean, at the same time, there's so many things that I think that the UFC overlook, and I get it, it's a business. They need to keep the machine going, keep Israel happy. How do we keep Israel happy? Cool. Give them Strickland, but now that Israel's lost, they should be going, cool, Drickus, Strickland, bar brawl.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like a burki and a hillbilly, basically. I mean, it's like
it makes 100% sense. I've never thought about it that way, but like,
let them roll each other so hard. I mean, I think Drickus will bang him.
I think I'll smoke him.
Smoke him, and then they should set up the Israel coming back to challenge for his title.
Exactly.
Whatever excuse, I was feeling sluggish and I was worried about this and that, and I had this DUI and whatever the story, sell the narrative. That's what they should do. But because they're being a bit bitchy about it, it's like they're batting Drickus a bit.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I think that his management in the States should do everything to get him to the line. That's what they should be doing. If they're worth their salt, they should be getting Drickus in there, because he is definitely somebody I know we bias, but he's definitely somebody that would be an incredible champ for that organization. They're never going to have anybody like that. He's clean cut, he's strong-willed, he's got pure conviction, he sells fights. He'll be somebody that is, and this awkwardness. It's bizarre because I've always seen that strange style of fighting, and I've kind of liked it in many ways because it's effective. He does fight in a very different way, but I can tell you something. He is the strongest human being I've ever been around in my entire life. I mean, we were joking around the other day. He grabbed me and he held me. I'm 92 kilograms. I'm not a small person, but I'm not like a beast. I was finished. He took all the wind out of me. He's an absolute machine. And I can imagine hhim getting hold of somebody like a Strickland or Israel, and they're going to shit the bed, man.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to shit the bed. Like, that's what Israel would have happened with Israel. Dricus, hands on him.
Stab him inside two rounds.
And you don't even know how their strategies have always been on point. The CIT strategies, they've got it going on, man. They know what's going on.
Look at the Whitaker fight with switching him to go southpaw.
Yeah.
That's
So they might do a couple of things there in the UFC. I'm not too sure. Khamzat and all this type of stuff. That is their boy, their next boy that they're trying to groom, and it's so ridiculous.
I mean, to just jump in straight into the middleweight picture, but you can see it. Like, that's why I'm asking, because
I think he'll get handled
by Costa.
You know why?
I also don't think it's going to be.
It's not going to be easy.
No.
It's not going to be easy because changing divisions to middleweight, Dricus is 100 kilograms.
Yeah,
it's 100 kilograms, and he's not 100 kilograms of fat.
Overweight.
He's a tank. He's a mini little tank. He's muscle. When he cuts down and he's in shape, it's like, and all the guys are like that. They're freaking strong, man.
Yeah.
And then, I get the whole Dagestani wrestling and the whole thing, but it's been unraveled and it's getting worked on. It's like when jiu-jitsu first came onto the fray. No one's like, what is this special art? What is a rear naked choke? Witchcraft, yeah. Voodoo.
Yeah.
Same with this
Dagestani style.
The Dagestani style of wrestling. I just think that it'll be worked out, and once they get their number, you're just another athlete. Because how do you fight that? You learn how to do that stuff. It was a great student of like Turkish wrestling and that style of wrestling was Attila Bana.
Yeah.
Attila's wrestling was so wild. I mean, he took a guy like Adam Speechley and turned him into a little beast. And it was just adding certain nuances of how to get out of certain situations, how to put somebody in a specific situation that like changed the whole game.
Look, I hope just the last thing on the middleweight picture. I think they're waiting to see what happens with Khamzat and Costa, because, like you say, I don't think it's as clean cut that a lot of people are saying Khamzat's going to run through Costa. But if you look at when Costa fought Romero couldn't ragdoll him. And Romero is a beast at 85. Like, you look at that, and his wrestling is Olympic level wrestler. So I don't think it's clear cut. So if Costa wins, I don't think they do that fight.
Or isn't it this? Maybe it's the season of the guys that nobody wants to win. Strickland starts winning. Costa beats Khamzat. Can you imagine how people will just be so disappointed? Because people hate Costa.
Yeah.
They hate Costa and they love Khamzat.
Yeah.
So I'm actually making a prediction now. I think Costa beats him.
I hope he beats him.
I think he beats him. And then it's just this like ugly setup where it's like Costa's back in the mix and Strickland and people are like, okay, put Dricus in there. Dricus will be the darling of those two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
well, listen, the way 2023 is gone. I mean, we do besides the podcast, we do like a weekly talk show. We like predict fights and whatever. Yeah. And I said to my co-host, I was like, this year, everybody except Volkanovski and Jones, I'm backing the underdog to win.
Yes.
It's been that year. Like everybody that's been an underdog, from Grasso to, I think Edwards was also this year. Dricus was an underdog against Whitaker. Strickland now as well. Like, it's that kind of year.
It is bizarre. And I think when you're so close to the pulse, it's easier to predict fights. It's so weird for me because, yes, I have a good friendship with him, but I also have predicted all of his wins. Dricus' wins. And it's the same with Edwards. I know Edwards. And I was like, okay, cool. I think he's going to beat him. Like, I put it out there prior to it happening. And I think when you're close to the pulse, you feel it a bit more.